Alright, we're back with the Odes Dominator 800. So last video, we got the engine rebuilt completely, a full rebuild on the engine. So all new cranks, all new pistons, all new cylinders, everything was redone. And we actually got it in the machine and fired up last video, and we actually got it to move. So we were riding this thing, everything was going good, and then this thing started to overheat. So today we're going to try to figure out why this thing is overheating. I tried to bleed the system because the Dominator seemed to have bleeding problems, and I still could not get it. So something's going on with it, and I'm not sure what. So we're going to diagnose this thing today. There's a thermostat right here and right here on it that might not be opening, and there's a temperature sensor over here on the radiator. Right here is the temperature sensor. So that allows the fan to come on, and the fan wasn't coming on last video. So coolant wasn't getting to the line right here and coming back into the system. So I was kind of thinking that the water pump failed again. So the water pump is right down here. Pretty easy access actually. You can see the little cover right there. So if we have to, we can just take that off quick. Well, not quick, but you get what I mean. We can take that off and check out the water pump, make sure that's spinning. But yeah, it starts right up still. So let's just fire this thing up, and I'll show you guys the temp gauge and what this thing is doing. So let's fire this thing up. The solenoid broke last video as well. I have nowhere it just stopped working. So we're going to diagnose that as well. Tear that apart and see if we can fix the solenoid today too. I turn the key. You can see it's. You can see the temperature gauge right there. 1 bar. Let's try to turn the key. You can hear it clicking. So nothing's happening when you turn the key. As you can see, it runs and idles perfectly. We're up to 2 bar now. No engine lights are flashing. There's only 18,058 miles on this thing. No leaking from the radiator. No leaking from the lines. So everything's good, but we'll wait and see when this thing overheats. And the coolant was hitting the full mark pretty quick, so it's back flowing in. You can see it's topped off in there as well. It's right up to the brim. Still at 2 bar here. You can see the coolant starting to come up through the radiator here. So it's kind of pushing it out the radiator. Alright, we're up to 4 bar here. So it's already overheating. It's been about 6 minutes. And these lines are super hot. You can almost barely touch them, they're so hot. So that's not good. Let's see how many bars now. It might be up to 5. Yup, you can see it flashing. So you can see it's overheating right now. Coolant level's still low, so that's good. These lines are still cold, and you can see it's still flashing. So it overheats in about 7 minutes idling. So let's get this thing in the garage and try to figure out what's causing that overheating problem. Alright, we got this thing in the garage. These lines right here are super hot. And if you look, this line goes down to the radiator up here, and this line's hot. But this line over here goes back to the radiator to the other side, and that triggers the fan to turn on, and that one is cold. So we're not getting coolant coming out of the bottom line over here. So I'm wondering if the thermostat isn't opening right here, allowing coolant to flow through the engine and down past the water pump down here. So I think what we're gonna first do is drain the coolant out, get the whole system flush, and then we're going to come over here and check out that thermostat, which is right here. So this is the temperature sensor. This one actually controls what we see on the gauge for overheating. So that's almost hitting boiling levels right here, which is really, really bad. And right here and right there, those are the bleeding screws, and we already tried bleeding it. That did not work. So I'm thinking there's something else going on. But we're gonna take this guy off, temperature sensor, take that off, and underneath here is the thermostat that we can test and make sure that's opening. All right, so right here by the radiator, we can drain this coolant line and the radiator. So we get this clamp off, and then we can drain it. Probably gonna come shooting out as you can get it everywhere. Let's see if I can get the container up here. It's probably really hot too. Hopefully I don't get burned here. Yeah, it's going everywhere. Alright, it's draining all over the place. Of course, right? Alright, now we can get this thermostat cover off. We could probably get the hose off first here. This clamp off. Probably gonna go everywhere again. Alright, now we can crack this open here. There should be a thermostat underneath this housing. At least according to the diagram online there is. We already got the bleeder screw out. Just kind of wanted to see how much coolant was in there. There we go. I do not see a thermostat housing. Okay. That's definitely not where the thermostat was. Alright, so now we're on the front cylinder. It looks like the thermostat is actually on the front cylinder on the diagram. I don't know why I thought it was on the back cylinder. But I'm guessing coolant's gonna pour out of here. So get that bucket underneath. Let's see. There we go. Oh. Let's see what we got. Ah, there it is. So there's the thermostat. That is, looks like it's closed right now. Yeah, it's closed. So I just want to see if that opens. So it should open all the way down. Alright, just boiling some water. Once it's boiled, we're going to dip this into the boiling water, and this pin should come out, allowing coolant to flow through that hole. If it does not, that means it's broken. Alright, you can see the thermostat's closed. We're going to place it in the boiling water. See what happens. Pay close attention to the area right here. See how close that is. Alright, here we go. Oh, it looks like it's opening. And yeah, as you can see, it's opening quite a bit. See that? Now there's a gap in between there. See if we can get it to open a little bit more. Yeah, look at that. Now it's open. So thermostat is working just fine. Looks like it's opening all the way. Alright, so we just tested the thermostat. That works perfectly. You can see the pin coming out and the passageway opening for the coolant to flow. So that is not the issue. Alright, next up on the list is the water pump. So let's get this panel off. I already got all the pins off of it, so that can come out like that. And now we're looking right down here, so that line has to come off. So let's get that out of there. Might be a bunch of coolant in here. Let's see. Oh yeah, quite a bit. Hopefully you guys can see. Little tricky angle here. That one's gonna be tough to get to. There's a bunch more coolant coming out. That's weird that it just started coming out now. And I cracked that bolt. It should have been flowing right out. Alright. Got the cover off. You can see the impeller in there. So now we're going to turn over the engine. I'll take the plug boots off of here. And we'll see if that thing spins. Let's just see. Oh no. I can already tell it's not going to. It's not grabbing anything. So that would be the problem. It's not grabbing anything. Let's just see if we turn it on. We'll jump this, see if it spins here. Yeah, it's not working. You can see it wasn't spinning at all. So that would be the culprit. That would be the problem right there. That sucks. That might be a big issue. That is not good. So you can see when we spin it, it doesn't grab at all. So I don't know if something broke in there, or a gear stripped out, or it came off that pin in there, But man, that is nothing to it. We have to come all the way over to this side and take off this side cover down here beneath this bar. That's a big job. So out comes the seat, out comes the plastics, out comes that bar, and then we can get to that water pump. All right, we got the side panel out over here. Let's get the belt off. We're using this bolt, threading it through this hole in the secondary. And what this is going to do is release the tension on the belt so that we can get that off. So we're going to do this until it bottoms out, and then just a couple more twists and we should have a freed up belt here. And hopefully we can get the primary pack off, because this thing was impossible to get off before. So I'm hoping it won't be too bad. Oh, we might run out of threads. There we go. It's loosening up now. You can see it's getting pretty loose. We should be able to get this out now. There we go. Alright, belt is off. Alright, that part of the clutch came off at least. Wasn't too bad. Now it comes out like that. And then we need the puller for this part. It continues to work. Looks like it's threading right in, so that's good. We really had troubles with this last time, so hoping it's gonna work here. Coming off. All right, I missed it on camera. Used the air impact at like 130 pounds. Finally got to budge off here. Hopefully it comes off. Ooh. There we go. All right, coming off. Should come off in one piece here. There we go. The spring comes off. Alright. There is the side cover that we need access to. Take that off. It's going to drain a bunch of oil, so we will quick drain the oil before we go any further. Alright, we got the oil out, not milky at all, so that is a great sign. at least the water pump seals are holding up. It means the head gaskets are most likely holding up as well. So both those check out. Underneath here. Coming out. Oops, something fell in. All right. Looks like that gear fell in to the oil down here. See if I can fish it out. That's still good. The gear we replaced is still good. Let's see, I've got it right here. Well, there's the gear that we replaced. Everything looks good there, so that didn't strip out again. Let's see, I think our pin just came out. So it looks like the pin that holds the water pump gear in to the shaft right here came out. I don't know where that went. Hopefully it's not in the bottom of the engine. But I think that was the culprit. So that came out. Because this looks really good. This cover looks good. All the gears in there look good. Nothing's chewed up at all. So I think it was just that pin that came out. So we'll take a magnet and kind of fish around in here, see if we can find it. Nothing so far. Where did that pin go? Alright, so we looked around for that pin for a long time. I could not find it anywhere. I just stuck a magnet in the case, went all around, and we couldn't find the pin. So what I'm thinking is, when I first put this cover on, it must have fallen out before I even put the cover on, and it was never in there. So we made a new pin right there, and now everything is good to go. So we're gonna put the cover back on, and we'll see if the water pump spins now. All right, we got everything back installed here. Let's see if the impeller spins now. There we go. All right, you can see it spinning now, and you can't twist it. You can see there's resistance now. So I think that's fixed. Let's put everything back together and see if this thing still overheats. If it does, there's something else wrong. All right, we've got coolant in it, we've got oil in it, the water pump is fixed. Let's see if she overheats. somewhere. Running. We didn't put the clutch on yet, just in case it still overheats. All right, not overheating yet. See if the lines are getting warm. A little bit. That one's cold. No leaking yet. Everything looks pretty good so far. Alright, it looks like it's still overheating here. I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. Yeah, flashing. These are hot. That one's hot. Oh, this one's getting warm now. Yeah, that's getting warm. Alright, we'll shut it off for a second here. Let this cool down. We'll add some more coolant. But this line was starting to get warm. So that is not working, which is good. So that means it's pumping. I think we just need to bleed it. Alright, we got this thing jacked up in the air a little bit. Trying to get the coolant forced down. And it's looking good so far. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's staying cool. This hose is nice and hot. So pretty soon this fan's gonna turn on. Or it should turn on. We're gonna plug off the radiator cap here. Oh, there's bubbles coming out of here. We might leave it like that for a little bit. Let it drip into there. Get all that air out of the system. You can see the bubbles coming up. Where temp is staying cold. That's good. These lines are pretty hot. Yeah, those are pretty hot. I think we're gonna be overheating here. Fan's not kicking on. Alright, it's still overheating. It's flashing. I had to quick turn it off because it was flashing again. So, I don't know what's going on with this thing. We might have to jack it up a little bit more and continue to bleed this thing. Alright, fan came on. The fuse was broken. There's a 15 amp fuse right here. That thing was fried, so now we know the fan comes on. That's good. So maybe that's why it overheated. So we'll fire this thing back up and see if it cools down. All right, we're staying at 2 bar here. We're on the gas right now, but let's see. Fan's still on. It turns off every once in a while, so I know it's cooling down. Yep, only 2 bar. It's been running for 15 minutes. With the fan turning on and off, so I know the fan's working great. Yep, see, fan turns off, and it'll run a while, and then it will turn back on. Let's see here. Yep, still 2 bar. Awesome. I think we got this thing fixed. Fan's not even turning back on. It's really cooling things down. We're still in the low for the reserve. Oh, fan turned back on. See our temperature now. Still 2 bar. Alright, now that we got the overheating problem fixed, let's work on the solenoid. So it just clicks right now every time we try to start it. So I tried replacing the ignition, that did not work. So we're going to get this out of here and see what's going on. We'll open it up and see if we can fix it. And there's another one right next to it. This whole thing should pull out now. Alright, let's see what happens when we turn the key. You can hear it click. Sounds like in one of these. Negative. Let's see what we're getting. Nope, nothing. Should be getting 12 volts here. Yep. Nothing's transferring over there. Not getting any voltage to either side here. So we're going to try hitting on this. See if that piston in there is stuck. See what happens. Nothing. Still just clicks. So I'm thinking it's something to do with this fuse right here. The little arm moves and connects that one to there. So that's the clicking noise we hear. Alright, we're gonna look at the solenoid. The wires right here, we're getting 12 volts. So I'm thinking it's the solenoid that's broken. Or something inside is broken. So let's just take it apart, see what's going on. It was working at one point. When I first bought it, it was working. This one's a little tricky to get out. There's a wire sitting right there. A little gasket. A little spring down there. Washer. That wire's attached. That wire looks to be attached in there. Just peel off this tape and check. You can see that wire is not broken right there. And the wire right there is not broken either. So what this does is it electrifies this, and this hammer goes up and hits up there. So let me just take this out, and you can see that was rusty, and way in there is rusty. See that? That's all corroded, so that might be the problem right there. That side's nice and clean, that side's nice and clean. Looking good. So, we have to get down in there and try to scrape that out. Just going to try to scratch that up a bit. Alright, so we finally figured this thing out. It was pretty crazy. So, the green and yellow wire going to the solenoid, going to the red wire, is supposed to be positive. So when we were hitting the key, we were getting positive to there. But the yellow wire going to the solenoid, the black wire right here, was supposed to be negative. And we were getting positive on that one. So I traced the yellow wire and I lost it back here somewhere. I don't know if it's hitting a wire in the harness, like a positive wire, and turning that positive, but now I just made it negative. So I connected it right to the battery, just temporarily, and check this out. We turn the key, see if she fires up here. Moment of truth. How the key works. So that is fixed. I thought for sure it was a solenoid, but it was not. It ended up being a wrong negative wire. So we fixed that. Let's get everything back together on this thing. We're gonna clean it up and then finally take it for the first ride where it's not gonna be overheating and it's gonna be perfect. So I've waited a long time for this. All right, we got the whole thing back together. Looking pretty good. Everything is complete. Everything is working properly. Doors are on. It's looking pretty good. So let's go out to the land and give this thing a proper test. Alright, all loaded up. This is the first time loading it on this trailer in like, what has it been, like 3 months? Feels good to finally take it to the land. Alright, made it out to the land. We can finally test drive this thing, and it's finally done. So, let's see if we can break it again on the first break-in ride. I would not doubt it. I would not doubt it at all. So, let's get this thing unloaded. See what she can do today. Alright, little walk around on this thing since it's all finished up. Has a little dump bed on here for the guys that haven't seen it in the previous videos. And that dump bed is automatic, so that's pretty cool. So, dump bed goes up. When you push the up button, you can see it coming down when you push the down button. So that's a pretty nifty feature. We've got lights up there, and down there we have a radio. We have 4-wheel drive, diff lock, park, low, high, neutral, cup holders. We have the winch controller in here, little toolkit, some charger ports. The seats on these are actually really comfortable and really nice. I do like the seats a lot. It's got the roof on it. I wish it had a windshield. It looks like it did at one point. It has the Velcro for it. That was taken off. There's the winch on it. Big front bumper. Yeah, it's not a bad machine. So far, so let's see if it continues. Let this thing warm up a little bit. We're at 1 bar on the temperature, so that's good. Let's keep it cool. And we're off. 34 right there. My door keeps flying open. I don't like that. Super cool. 1 bar on the temperature. That is awesome. Alright, it survived the break-in ride and the official first ride with everything fixed. Nothing broke, everything works perfectly. Didn't overheat. You can see the temperature stayed at 2 bars the whole time. Now it's at 3 bars right now, but it stayed at 2 bars the whole time we were riding. Didn't ever go above 3. The only complaint I have is this door keeps on opening. So we're gonna have to see, sometimes it locks and sometimes it doesn't. I think we're gonna need to make this bracket a little bit bigger. I think it looks like it might be bent out a little bit. So we'll bend that back in. But otherwise, it is a smooth ride. It's very fast, probably goes about 55. Has really good acceleration as well. For a $3,000 machine, it goes pretty good. Not too bad. So in total, I paid $3,000 for this blown up, and then I rebuilt it for around $550. So in total, we have about $3,550 into this thing, not including the work done and the hours put into it, which I believe I have over 100 hours into this thing, probably easily. And yeah, it took a long time to get this thing to be perfect, but I think it's finally there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the series on this thing. It took a little longer than expected to get everything perfect, but we finally did it, and I think it was worth it in the end. It's very satisfying when you put this much time into something and it turns out and runs good and drives good, and yeah. So anyway guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for the next video, and until next time, we are out.